Hey ho, I got my first Freak Folk cans. Freak Folk beer. Um, for quite a few years, they were like on the down low. A brewery releasing wild ale bottles sporadically. I think I got like one of them, and I think I have a review from a few years ago of that. But in 2022, they opened their own spot in Waterbury, a small spot, and they've been brewing all sorts of beers, but almost all of them brewery only. And I got what they call a double pale ale, 7.8%. It's basically just like a lower grade double IPA is what most people would call it. And this one is, I guess, the rotating double pale ale with a one hop variety. This is Double Fantasy double pale ale, Mosaic and Mosaic Cryo. And I had tasted this at the brewery. Very, very good. I was impressed. Not always a huge fan of Mosaic. That's why I wanted to give it a try. And I just kind of knew going there that their IPAs would be good. I guess I looked at reviews. And this was canned on the 20th. So it's canned less than a week ago, 6 days ago. And I think they used oats and wheat in this. And they've done a Citra one, of course. So let's see what's going on here. I feel like at the brewery it was a little bit hazier on draft. I guess I'll stir around the can, see if there's some sediment. It's pretty hazy, but not murky. There's like my hand block's a little bit of light there, but very pale. There you go. All the double fantasies have this can design, but with different colors. And I just found it to be very hoppy, very fruity, aromatic. It definitely is, and it's got that big peach thing, and sort of blueberry maybe. Yeah, it smells a little less nectarous than on draft. It's also pretty cold, but maybe there's some more sediment in the bottom of the can. But not many people have had these beers because they're just such a small batch. They don't stick around long, and I think they only distro wild ale bottles, which I've had some of them. They do pretty good mixed firm stuff. Had one of their stouts, or I guess they called it a robust milk porter. It was pretty good. This doesn't have any of the off-putting characteristics I get from Mosaic. I used to describe it as plasticky peach ring. I don't know, just a green, sometimes I say scalliony or chive-like thing that it's gotten less and less over the years with Mosaic, and most hops, they're breeding them to remove those characteristics or harvesting them at times where you don't get that. But Mosaic just seems to sometimes just not be my jam. But this is smelling really good. Maybe it's in part just their yeast ester profile just works, but it's just super peachy. And there's just a little slight doughy malt thing in there that's kind of nice. Almost like straw. But also just kind of like lightly, freshly fermenting dough. And it just adds a little bit of something to it where a lot of these hazy beers, there's no real malt character. There's just some generic malt sweetness that brings out the fruit. Juicy stuff. This actually smells like, a grain product. It's pretty sweet. And it does have that like Mosaic bite. I just don't know how to describe it. But it's so fruity and so expressive. And even without being super murky, there's no throat burn. I guess the yeast strain, it seems like it's London Ale 3, which is the common one to use. And that has a little bit of like this fruit cup, like canned peach, canned pineapple sort of thing that's makes it a little bit sweet and not seen as fresh and zesty. But it's really really hoppy and really fruity and out there. So I don't really care too much. pretty good body. I mean, maybe it's not that sweet. As the bitterness builds up, might seem a little less sweet. It does have that, plasticky peach ring thing that I say. I like this weird. I just don't know what to say. Maybe it's almost like chlorophyll. I don't know, but just some kind of green character from the Mosaic that's just so unique to Mosaic. I used to be my favorite thing, and then I started noticing this more and more. But if you just there are all these little things that poke out to me with hops and beer yeast profiles, especially in the hazy IPA world, where I'm like, sometimes I'm like, oh, it's not quite my thing. It doesn't seem quite right, but it's what they're going for, and it's what the hops are providing. So I don't know, and people's tastes change. So. Well, that is nice. It reminds me of some really good Mosaic beers from like Bissell Brothers. Maybe it's a little bit like a Mosaic Congress Street, or what are they? I can't remember. Like the one IPA they make with Mosaic at Trillium, maybe some of those better batches. But this has no throat burn, no chalkiness, no off-putting mouthfeels or anything like that. It's clean. Was expensive though. Freak Focus charging over $20 for most of their 4-packs. But if it's this good, I can't really complain. And I don't know, that their facility looked pretty small. It's kind of reminded me of the old school tiny brewery small batch magic, but I didn't have to line up for it. I did have to go on a day when they're open. They're not open many days. I've missed out on going to their spot several times when I was going through Waterbury, because they're not open on Sundays, and I just happened to be there on Sundays. But it's really good. And it seems like they're brewing all sorts of styles really well. I kind of wish I'd try their Doppelbock, because everyone's saying the Doppelbock was really good, and I didn't get any growlers of their other stuff, because the stuff they don't have in cans that's not super rare, you can fill 750 growlers of there at the brewery, which is cool. But it has to be like with the swing top, Hill Farmstead style. That's damn good. I can't conceive of a Mosaic double IPA, kind of working better. So this is a 4.5 beer. From me, goodbye.